Why is she reading a comic that's representing her? That is such utter bullshit. Messaging already, folks. I love it. I didn't even realize that until I started looking at this video. Whew, this is a weird story, ladies and gentlemen. So Bounding Into Comics have run this article today on Gina Carano, one of the hottest women in the universe for me. Oh my god, Gina Carano can crush me between her thighs any day, just like Xenia Onatopp from GoldenEye. So Pop Culture Classroom, who are they? Oh, I'll get to that in a minute. They attempted to get Terror on the Prairie actress Gina Carano removed from a forthcoming fan expo in Denver. Now, Pop Culture Classroom, an organization that claims to inspire a love of learning, increases literacy, celebrates diversity, and builds community through tools of popular culture and the power of self-expression. So something like this. So the convention tweeted, "The Fan Expo Denver Star Wars lineup is growing." And of course, you can see Gina Carano is mentioned. Ming-Na Wen is going to be there. Carl Weathers, who is a good friend of Carano's. And they're talking about, now look, we've got this here, Gina Carano in full effect. Meet the Mandalorian Deadpool star. Get your tickets now. Blah, blah, blah. Great. Now, in response to Carano's invitation and confirmed announcement for the Fan Expo, Pop Culture Classroom took to their Twitter account, issuing a statement revealing they attempted to get Carano removed from said convention. Don't forget what Pop Culture Classroom stands for. Diversity, inclusion, blah, 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 blah. They create a warm and welcoming invitation. Sounds a bit dojo to me. Sounds a bit like a religious cult. Now, back in the late 80s, early 90s in the UK, we had certain religious cult groups infiltrating the UK. One was called the London Church of Christ, and I actually went along to one of those classrooms, if that's what you want to call them. Basically, it's youths drinking, swearing, and having a good time, and that's all part of religion, folks. So when I saw that, and when it got exposed eventually by Roger Cook, who was an investigative reporter back then, I thought, I can see, this was the beginning of things to come. Now, here we go. Now we've got this, I do hate the black background and the white font. You know where they're going with that, right? It's just, it's pretty cringe. So Pop Culture Classroom is committed to creating welcoming and inclusive spaces through our educational programs, no, the cultist programs, at the Fan Expo in Denver. PCC, I'm surprised it wasn't called POC, was not consulted on the booking of Gina Carano and opposes her involvement in the Fan Expo Denver event. Why oh why would Gina Carano's point of view affect their ideology, their stance? It makes no sense. Now let's just go on over to the Pop Culture Classroom video on YouTube. It's embarrassing to say the least. 29 subscribers, 1 like so far. So way to go, Pop Culture Classroom. You're getting this brand out there, aren't you? Let's watch this video because, my God, this is absolutely cringe.
A common character in comics is the superhero. We like to read about them, to fantasize about what it would be like to be able to fly or to be faster than the speed of light.
No, you used to fantasize about that many, many years ago when social media wasn't around. Now that we have that all around, why on earth would we want to fantasize about that? And of course, diverse kid here reading diverse comic. Oh, that is so cringe. Why isn't this kid reading a Spider-Man comic or an Iron Man comic or Superman or Batman? Why is she reading a comic that's representing her? That is such utter bullshit. Messaging already, folks. I love it. I didn't even realize that until I started looking at this video. Absolutely terrible. Thank God for my dad. Back in the day when he was buying me Spider-Man comics and the Hulk, he wasn't saying, "Here, son, here's somebody who looks like you" on the pages. My dad did not give an absolute shit because he wanted to have me entertained. And comics and their beautifully laid out panels by Sal Buscema and Stan Lee, etc., etc., was the way to go. Holy shit, how cringe is that?
Pop culture classroom, we believe that inside all of us.
And actually, looking at her, looking at the kid's face there, I don't even think she looks that impressed, neither does he. He's reading Doctor Who. Okay, well there you go, a little bit of pop culture for the kid there.
Speed of light. At Pop Culture Classroom, we believe that inside all of us is this power of creativity.
Sam Fuqua! Now, I've got to remind you folks, this was shot in 2016, so I'm pretty sure these staff members have changed, and I believe they have. So when I read out the following names, the roll call later on, you'll know what I'm talking about.
And that is a superpower.
From being pop culture.
Sorry, what is a superpower?
From power of creativity, and that is a superpower.
The power of creativity is a superpower. Oh, gosh. And you got Captain America. I'm surprised they haven't changed that around yet. Well, they probably have already. Okay, let me just see what comics they've got on in store here. Let me have a quick look. Okay, Captain Marvel. Yep, the male Captain Marvel. So New York Comic Con is obviously too big for you guys. And Denver, Colorado, I imagine is a pretty big place anyway. Or actually, is it? Oh, John Romita Jr. I have met this guy. He's a really cool dude. One of the nicest people in comic books and one of the greatest artists of all time.
Comic-Con's amazing!
Are you amazing?
Denver Comic-Con is our annual 3-day, family-friendly, educational.
It really irks me when you have these cultists saying, we're family friendly. Something sinister behind that remark. I'm sorry, but it is. I do cringe every time I hear that.
Convention that goes to support the educational endeavors of Pop Culture Classroom.
Denver Comic-Con is one of the largest Comic-Cons in the country, but it is different from most other Comic-Cons.
We are the only Comic-Con that has over 400 hours of educational programming. We have...
Yeah, do you know what I find really bothersome about that remark? It's 400 hours of educational programming. Why do you need a classroom to teach people about pop culture and superheroism, etc., etc.? When I was growing up, you know how I educated myself? I watched and read about these things that I loved so much and continue to do this day. It's so bizarre. Like, why would you set something up like this? I think I can read between the lines actually, but I'm not going to say it here.
The whole educational space for the children. And then we have just panels that anyone can go in there and learn about a whole process.
And get brainwashed.
Everybody that comes to our show has a wonderful time, and they get to see their favorite celebrities, and they get to meet their favorite artists. And it's our hope that when they're...
Yes, but you can just go to a comic book convention, a normal comic book convention, and do the same thing without sitting in various stage areas and listening to people drone on about how wonderful comic books and film and television is.
Trained teachers will bring our resources. We'll offer workshops. We'll
Utter cringe. I ain't going to say any more about that one. Whew, wow, that was a cringe video, wasn't it, folks? My God, that was worse than getting your eyes gouged out. So, Bounding Into Comics goes on to say, interestingly, Pop Culture Classroom, whose board of directors includes Tone Ellis DeJesus, Shatana Allen, Frank Turina, JP Prentice, Esteban Morin, Todd Fukai, and Kyle Burnett provide absolutely zero evidence to support their claim that Carano's actions are at direct odds with their organization's mission to celebrate diversity and build inclusive pop culture spaces where all feel welcomed. What is this? Such a cringe statement, isn't it? I'm telling you, there is something sinister behind that statement. I have seen his mission statements before, and they're awful. And of course, they have to really bang home the diversity with the people have hired on board. Like, I wonder if I would fit in. Probably not, because my name sounds a bit too, well, Anglo-Saxon. If this sounds familiar, it's exactly how Disney justified firing Gina Carano from The Mandalorian. A Disney spokesman, I like the way they said spokesman, announced Carano's firing back in February 2021 via a statement that read, Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm and there are no plans for her to be in the future. it added. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. And of course, if you know about what Gina Carano did, everything that the Disney people said there is not true. It's because simply Disney are a bunch of extreme left-wingists, idiots, activists, whatever you want to call them. I know what I like to call them. That'll probably be on a members only video sometime in the future. But it begins with C and ends with S, so you could probably work it out yourself from that one. The poor generation of today, growing up, being force-fed what people like grown-up adults want them to read, trying to, how can we say, brainwash them? That's what I'm thinking of. I haven't heard that term brainwashing in a long time. Probably time to bring it back, I think. So if you enjoyed this video today, folks, do me a massive favor. Hit that like button, slap that subscribe button like it's Pop Culture Classroom. And if I were you, I'd see me on my next video.